Hi there, my name is Janet Stobie, and I have a special Christmas gift for you today. It's a story from my collection of short stories titled, Can I Hold Him? This is from a live performance done at a concert in Lindsay, Ontario. If you would like to buy Can I Hold Him, or any of my books, I encourage you to go to my blog, www.revjantheauthor.blogspot.com. There you'll find not only Can I Hold Him, but also Spectacular Stella and my newest book, A Place Called Home. Each book sells for $10 plus shipping. Now, I hope you really enjoy this story. God bless you. Today my name is David, and I'm going to tell you a story about a night that happened a long time ago when I was only 14. It was the first year of having my own flock of sheep to care for. A shepherd's life is a very lonely life. We traveled the hills around Bethlehem with our sheep, and the ground there is very dry, and so the grass is scarce. It takes some searching. But every once in a while, we gather together 8 or 9 shepherds and put our flocks in a ravine where they will be protected that night from the animals or the bandits that might prey on them. And we camp at the mouth of the ravine. So on this night, there were 8 of us gathered. And after we had shared a meager supper, we sat around the fire to share our news and to have conversation and tell stories. And after we had talked for a while, my Uncle Elias said, "Last week, my Rebecca and the children were in Jerusalem, and those Roman soldiers harassed them again. I wish the Messiah would come and rescue us from these Romans." Well, Jacob, one of the older shepherds, spoke right up and said, "He's never going to come, Elias. You might just as well give up on that. It's just a myth. We shepherds will always be forgotten." Well, I knew that an argument was going to start, and I'd heard that argument before, and I wasn't interested in it that night. So I tossed the dregs of my tea into the darkness, set my cup by the fire, and strode off to bed in my tent. And I lay there, and sleep didn't come. And I could hear the shepherds talking around the fire, and I could hear the odd bleat from the sheep down in the ravine. And I listened. And eventually Jacob spoke up with, "Enough. Stephen's right. If the Messiah ever comes, he will be a great warrior. He will be a descendant of the king. He'll have nothing to do with the likes of us. We're the outcasts. We're last." With that, they threw some wood on the fire, and they all went to their tents, and quiet came. But having listened, I began dreaming in my head about the Messiah, and about myself and what I would be, and I dreamt that I was the keeper of the king's horses. Maybe even the Messiah's horse. And in my mind, I saw myself standing there, my hands holding the reins for the most magnificent black stallion ever imagined. And his coat glistened in the sun because I had brushed and brushed and brushed him. And I saw the Messiah striding towards me, such confidence, such strength, such love in his face. And he reached out to take those reins from my hand. My dreams all scattered. It was one of my lambs. I dragged my black body out of my covers and stood at the door of my tent, and I could see outlined in the starlight this little tiny lamb. Obviously lost, meeting his mother. And so I went out and I picked him up and brought him close to me and comforted him with my hand. And I said to him, "How did you get so far away from the others?" "Ah! Ah! Ah! That's your mother. Can you hear her? Ah! Ah! She's worried about you." And then her form came out of the darkness. And so I set the little lamb down, and he wobbled off to his mother. And her nose reached out and nuzzled him. And then they ambled off towards the ravine, and I knew they'd be okay. And I stood there and looked at those beautiful stars, and then I heard it. And I didn't know what that sound was. And I was afraid. And then I saw a light in the northern sky. And it got brighter and brighter, and it got bigger. And together they went and they swirled. And out of it came a form, a figure with wings. It was an angel. And I could hear behind me the other shepherds. They had wakened with us. And I could feel their fear too. And the angel spoke. And his voice thundered out over the valley. "Do not be afraid, for I bring you good tidings of great joy that will be for all people. On this day, in the city of David, which you call Bethlehem, is born a son, the Messiah. And you will know him, because you will find him in a stable, wrapped in cloths, and lying in a manger." And suddenly all around us were angels. Everywhere we looked were angels. And they were singing, "Glory to God in the highest, and on earth, peace, goodwill to all people." And then it was gone. The vision was gone. There was only silence. The nervous bleating of the sheep down in the ravine that had been disturbed by it all. And I turned to the rest of the shepherds, and I said, "Let's go. Let's go to Bethlehem and see the Messiah." Well, Jacob, he just flung his arms in the air and he said, "Not me. I'm not leaving my sheep." And one of the others joined him and said, It's not safe. It's not safe to go out in the dark at night in the hills. I'm not going. And someone else said, we have to stay here to protect the sheep. I'm not going. And I looked at Uncle Elias, and he could see how much I wanted to go. And I could see a grin begin to spread across his face as he looked at Jacob. I think he just enjoyed disagreeing with Jacob. And he said, why not?